Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. This week we'll be talking about all my favorite romance books. These are the romance books that I would recommend to you if you're looking for nice, cute, contemporary romance. The first category is young adult romances. These ones are either no spice at all or they're closed. But the first book that I have is Better Than the Movies by Lynn. This book is about Liz, and her mom, when she was growing up, used to watch rom-coms all the time, and she's like super obsessed with them, and she's really looking for that like rom-com type of love. And her mom has passed away now, and that's just like one of the things that she like held on to after she passed away. And one of her childhood crushes like comes back to town, like moves back to town or something like that, and she is like determined to go to prom with this guy. And so she ends up making a deal with her neighbor, who's like her rival, that he will help her get this guy as a date. I love this book. All of the chapters have rom-com quotes in the beginning. This is a 5-star read for me for sure. It's my favorite young adult romance, definitely. The main male character is just like so fun, and there's really good banter in this book. One of the things that the main character does is make playlists for her life. The author will like put the song that she's listening to or thinking of as if it were like a movie scene where that song is playing. I feel like I can really visualize this book in my head. It's just so cute. There's so many really sweet, funny moments. Definitely recommend this one. Okay, the other YA romance that I have is The Summer of Broken Rules by Walther. This one I originally gave 5 stars. I feel like it's more like around a 4.5 stars for me, but it is about Meredith, who her and her family always go to Martha's Vineyard in the summer, but then her sister passed away a few years ago and they just haven't been since she has passed away. But this summer is her cousin's wedding, and so they all go back, and she's kind of dealing with her grief about her sister and what it means to like be there without her. But also her cousin has made this game for them all to play. It's called Assassin, I think, but they play it with water guns, where you have like, you draw a name and you have to go like shoot that person with a water gun. And I played that game when I was younger at camp, and so this just felt like so nostalgic to me because of that. And that like background plot was just really fun to go through, and it was a really good way for the main character to get to know the main male character. This one was very like openly flirty, like it wasn't enemies to lovers or anything like that, or like usually the characters are like trying to fight their feelings, but this one was not like that, and I kind of enjoyed that. This one is Closed Doors. Okay, my next category is closed door adult romance books. So the first one is When in Rome by Sarah Adams. I have talked about this book before, but I just love her books, and this one specifically I gave 5 stars. This one is about Amelia, and she is a pop star, but she's getting very tired of going on tour and like the pressure from her agent, and she's also like having issues with her relationship with her mom. So she decides that she is going to go to Rome, but the closest Rome to her is Rome, Kentucky. And so she drives there in the middle of the night, and then her car breaks down in Noah's yard. And Noah is this grumpy guy. So it's Grumpy Sunshine, small town guy, and he owns a pie shop as well. And he's like sworn off women, and he's just like trying to do the right thing and help this girl, but he doesn't want to like talk to her, get to know her, and anything like that. And then he's like, you can stay with me while your car is fixed, but that's it. So that's kind of where the story starts, and this one's really sweet because there's found family aspect with all the characters from this town. You just get that background plot, I guess, of all the town's characters and stuff like that. But yeah, I just really enjoyed this one, and it was such a fast read. The other closed door book that I want to recommend by Sarah Adams is The Cheat Sheet. This is about Bree, who is a ballet teacher, and Nathan, who is a football player. And he's like a famous NFL football player, but they have been best friends since they were in high school, and they've been in love with each other since then. But neither of them will admit it, and Nathan has had all these girlfriends, and she's like always been around hanging out with him, but she's like, why would he date all these people? Like, he obviously doesn't like me. And then they end up having to fake date because of some publicity thing that happened with her, and it's so cute. If you want a friends to lovers story, this one's like the classic. And I love the famous person trope. I think it's kind of fun. This one was just so sweet, and I keep wanting to reread it. This one also has a sequel coming out in April called The Rule Book, which that one won't be closed door, but she said that it would be easy to modify it and skip over chapters and stuff. So I'm really looking forward to that. It's about one of Nathan's teammates. The other closed door book that I want to recommend is The Bodyguard by Katherine. This one is about Hannah, and she works for like a private security company, so you can hire her to keep you safe basically. And she ends up getting hired to work for Jack, who is a famous actor. He has like some stalkers that he's worried about, so she is hired to keep him safe from them. But then they end up going to his family's ranch, and his mom has cancer, and he really doesn't want his mom to like be worried about his safety, and he doesn't want her to like know that he is having to have a bodyguard. And so Hannah and Jack are fake dating in front of his family so that his mom won't worry about him while she's going through all of her cancer treatment and everything. This one was super sweet. It was kind of like a tender story because of that like sad aspect of it, but also I just love Hannah and Jack together, and she like really goes through stuff on her own and in her life, trying to figure out what she wants to do and who she is and things like that. It's kind of a women's fiction story as well, which I've heard that about Katherine. She has really good like romance subplots to her stories, but this one I feel like is more heavy on the romance than the other ones I've heard people talk about. It's also set in a Texas, like on a ranch, so it's kind of has that country vibe, which is cute. Also famous person trope. I like did not realize that all three of these books are the famous person trope as well. I guess I like that trope. And then I have some recommendations for minimal open door scenes. They're like easy to skip. There's only one or two. So the first one is The Love Hypothesis by Hazelwood. This is about Olive, who is a PhD student. She's trying to convince her friend that she is over this guy that she went on a date with so that she can date him, because she knows that they like really like each other, and she wants to make sure that she knows it's okay. Like, I'm over him, you don't have to worry about me. She tells her friend that she is going on a date with someone else, and then she ends up going to the lab, and then her friend shows up there, and then she like panics and kisses the first person she sees, and that is one of the professors that works in the department, and his name is Adam. He's not her professor, so it's not like that trope, but he is like a little bit older than her, and he's like super grumpy and like a stern guy, like with all of his students that he's helping, and so everyone's like shocked that he's like dating anyone, but he ends up agreeing to fake date her so that she can convince her friend. And it's just like such a fun story because everyone's trying to figure out like, why is Adam dating anyone? That is so crazy. Like, we all thought he was so invested in his career that he would never date anyone, let alone like Olive, who's kind of energetic and sporadic and that sort of thing. Their story is super sweet, and it also has some other aspects of like women in STEM, which is really cool. Like, that background was cool for me to read because I was a psychology major, but there was a lot of like sciencey classes that I had to take, so I feel like I could relate to some of the things that they were talking about in the book. That one is really fun. I really enjoyed that one. My next recommendation is Part of Your World by Jimenez. This one is about Alexis, whose family is a long line of doctors, and they like founded this hospital that she works at, and one day she is driving back from a funeral and her car ends up in a ditch, and then this guy, his name is Daniel, helps her get her car out of the ditch, and then that night they end up having like a one-night stand situation, and then they end up catching feelings for each other. So Daniel is the mayor of a small town, and his job is to take care of a bed and breakfast. And this is like a house that's been in his family for years and years. So they're both like trying to figure out how they can continue their family legacy, but also like have a life together and try to figure out their relationship with each other. It's really sweet. I really enjoyed the small town aspects of this. Also, it just felt like a little bit whimsical, like the aspects that she added to the town. Like it has like a lot of character, and that was really cool. And my last romance recommendation for you guys is The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. This book I just read recently. It was my most recent 5-star read. I really enjoyed this book. It's about Clementine, whose aunt passes away and she inherits her apartment, and that apartment has magical characteristics. So sometimes when you walk into the apartment, it sends you back 7 years in the past, but only when you're in the apartment. So one day this happens to her, but she doesn't know it, and there's just this man in her apartment. And she's like, what are you doing here? Who are you? So yeah, that is how the story begins. I really liked this book because it's just like set in the real world, but it has like some magical realism aspects to it. It's a super sweet story too. I love the characters a lot. She works for a publishing company and he's a chef, so their like jobs are really interesting as well. I really enjoy that. The part of the book that's not just their relationship is also interesting to me as well. This one just gave me such like nice happy feelings the whole time I was reading it. I honestly think like the concept of it is kind of genius, and just like how that affects their relationship and what they know about each other and things like that is so cool. So I definitely recommend you read it. I don't want to say too much because it's so fun to just hear the concept and go in blind. That's what I did. I just think everyone should read this book because it's so much fun. So that is all the recommendations that I have for you guys. I hope that one of these was interesting to you and you guys end up picking it up and liking it. Let me know if you guys have read any of these books in the comments, and give me some more recommendations for closed door or minimal spice romance books. I hope you guys have a really good day. Bye!